rev up just a little bit, and that sucker goes smooth as butter. That fuel filter. Come with me on a journey. Mr.Bubbles, how dare you? I got this thing free. I don't know if I mentioned that. I got this thing free. Here we go again. So, small run. Hey, morning. How y'all doing today? Just gonna take a real quick thing. Sorry about all the mess going on right now. It's been crazy with Christmas and cleaning the bike and whatnot and getting ready and going camping, and now I'm finally back and then working over the weekends. I'm gonna have to clean this garage up probably in the next couple hours once I get back from the gym. Finally able to go back to the gym after like a week and something. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Harley. It hasn't moved in a little bit, about a week and change. The twin, I took it this weekend to go camping to go coach out in Port Orange with Adventure Rider. That was a good time. Had a good class. The majority of them passed. Good things. This is the 1997 Harley Davidson Road King Police. It's a gorgeous little bike, man. His name is Mr. Bubbles. Mr. Bubbles is a fun bike. He's enjoyable. He's been good to me so far. I haven't had him for very long, only a couple months. He's taken some work to get moving and going. He hadn't been moving for about 15 to 17 years before I got my hands on him. And as you can tell, he doesn't look like he's been sitting for 17 years. Although he definitely does show signs if you start to look a lot closer. You know, he's got that chrome herpes and stuff on it. He's got a little bit of broken chrome there, a little bit of broken chrome there on top of the rocker boxes and stuff. It's just, master cylinder and the line broke and then leaked fuel and then sat there for 10 years. On the other side, there was a leak over the primary that leaked on the paint for the primary and got the paint off on the primary. It's just bunch of stuff. The chrome is cracking on the top from where there was a fuel leak there, and then there was another oil leak over here, and an oil leak there, and then a cable, and then a ha-ha, and then a ding-dong, and a bing-bing, and you just gotta hit and chrome and clean and move and jazz and drive and try, and then brake, and then try and brake, until eventually it just stops braking, and so far it's at the point where it stops braking. There are some stuff that I've pointed out which aren't going to break immediately, but most certainly needed addressing. So far I've done the lifters, done push rod tube O-rings, gaskets, all that jazz, new sensor, new oil pressure, spring, new O-rings, obviously, of course. Anything that I talk about, I'm doing O-rings and gaskets and all that stuff that's associated with it in order to make sure that it's clean and sealed and 100% done. Clutch cable, the ramp with the ball bearings. What else have I done to this thing? I did fuel pump. I did, let me see, what's it called? That fuel filter. All the fuel lines on the inside as well. On the outside, I did the fuel lines on the outside. I did these. You can see them on the inside there. Let's see if we can take a little closer look. Those little orange things, I don't know if you can see them in there. They're orange hoo-hoos. Yeah, there's orange things down there. There's going to be the injectors. I did the injectors, all the gaskets, O-rings, blah, 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 blah. That's all cleaned out and done. I have not done the gaskets for the intake on the actual plenum itself, but they sealed, they're solid. It makes, no leaks whatsoever. I'm not going to touch them for now. Same thing with the exhaust gaskets. Haven't touched them, not going to touch them. I did get to look at the cam down there after I pulled off the tappet blocks, and it looked good when I replaced the lifters. A bit of an interesting job, but not a necessarily tough job. What else have I done to this thing? New ignition module, or I don't know if it's ignition. It's the spark box, if you will. Let's call that the coil pack. The coil pack. Okay. Man, cleaned it up real well. New What else have I done? Oh yeah, brake lines, new pads, new cleaned out, new fluids, obviously, because the lines were all corroded and disgusting. Had been sitting for 15 years. The lines were broken and dripped fuel everywhere. There was fuel leaks on the fuel lines on the opposite side. Let me see what else. The pads hadn't been touched in forever, but honestly cleaned up, and it's looking really good so far. My idea with this bike is to take it and to turn it into a long distance monster, and I mean an absolute monster. A little bit chrome, just clean it, and it's still dirty, but it is a dirty old bike, so it is what it is. At this point, yeah, just turn it into a long distance monster and go far with it. Reserve it for either around town or really, really, really big trips. For example, I work with Honda. And last year we went to Sturgis, and hopefully this year we go to Sturgis. And if this year we go to Sturgis, then that means I get an opportunity to either fly or ride. And well, I think you know where I'm going with this, and it's either taking this thing or the twin. So one way or another, I'm going to be in good hands. It's just going to be which one do I want and how do I want to do it. If I can get this thing prepped and ready and all that stuff and rip and roaring and, and going good, then hey man, I'll take this thing. Why not? I'll have some fun. If I can't necessarily get it all good and going squared, then, it's okay. I'll take the twin. The twin's a perfectly good motorcycle. The only thing it needs right now is a little bit of an oil change, and I already have the kit and everything. I just need to go ahead and sit down and do that. The bike's been fun though so far, this thing. I'm going to load it up with some shoes in it. I'm going to take it to the gym, exercise its demons, maybe put a little bit of gas in it, pick myself up maybe a diet soda on the way, and enjoy the gym, and on the way back home pick my wife up a Christmas present, because I wasn't too sure what to get her, but now I've kind of got an idea, so I'm going to go get that. Let's have fun, man. Let's enjoy. Put it together. So I'm thinking about making an adapter for the GoPro. That's why I had this assembled. Either from here to which this is, I forgot what the thread is, and I forgot what that is, but I have it over there written. And I can either make an arm go out like this, or like that, or like that, or whatever I hear, just have it come straight out and then have it connect here, or here forward, and then have the phone here, or here anywhere from here, or here from anywhere from here. I think I like that idea better than putting it on the bars. Let me know what you think. There we go, taken care of. After all the work, let's see if it's good. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it's dependable. Whew, she clean, baby. Make sure she's in neutral. Yep, neutral. She gonna roll forward? Nope. Pick it up. Now, one of the things I really like about this motorcycle that I've been able to, I don't necessarily achieve, I don't know if it was part of the motorcycle to begin with, but it does have a tune on it with a power commander. And that power commander, fortunately, has a really nice tune for this particular bike. How do I know that? Because it doesn't go anywhere. It's man, I'm going to show you the cold start on this sucker. Whoo, dog, look at that man. Mr.Bubbles. Oh, I got all my gear in here. I'm good to go, man. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, here we go. Back to it. It's a little more cleaner from that polish that I did. There you go. Still haven't gone over a second or a third time. Need to go over and do it all over again, since I'm still waiting on a couple of things. I've just been cleaning and cleaning with no hurry. But it is looking pretty good, man. Bike's looking pretty good. A little dusty right now. It's been sitting in the garage, and I've done some cutting and stuff in there, so it's not exactly perfect. But it's good. Let me show you how this thing cold starts. That's my favorite thing. Like I was saying, it's got a tune on it. It's got the full exhaust on it. It has the Arlen Ness breather, or Big Sucker 2 or whatever. Here we go. Here, pump. Yep, hear that pump? Crank it. That's it. That's all it takes. Just a little bit of that. Yeah, she a pretty bike. So I got my friend Tiffany. She's gonna give me a top box for the bike. She's a coach over here in Orlando, and I'm a coach as well for the MSF, if you weren't aware. I do rider coach as well as multiple classes, and advanced courses is my jam. That's what I really enjoy. I work with Adventure Rider Training right now and Be Crash Free, as well as I work with Indian and Honda during their demo days, as well as any sort of safety stuff they need. Man, I really enjoy those jobs, which has afforded me a situation where I play with motorcycles all the time. And so if you have any questions about any of the bikes at either Honda or Indian or any motorcycle out there, or motorcycles in general, man, let me know. I have a lot of fun doing this stuff. I just want to be in it as long as possible and be as safe as possible. Now, it does have some clutch issues that I still need to work out. I think the clutch plates itself are warped, therefore it's giving me different areas for the friction zone and different gears and whatnot. I thought it may be related to the clutch cable that I replaced and whatnot, because it had issues before, but when I replaced the clutch cable, it still had issues. Adjusted the primary, I don't know, 100,000 times just to make sure it wasn't that either. Man, what a nightmare. Nightmare, because the manual does mention to, or at least the service manual mentions to bring it down to either half a turn to a full turn from just basically contact from the adjustment pin onto the, I guess, the clutch, the diaphragm, or whatever it may be. But really what it needs is about 1/8 of a turn to 1/4 of a turn. Maybe the manual says 1/4 of a turn to 1/8 or 1/4 of a turn to a half turn or whatnot, or half turn to a full turn. Not 100% sure. Either way, it's not something that it was just way too far off as far as the adjustment. The friction zone brought it way too close to the grip, and then with the warp clutches or the warp plates and whatnot, it gave me odd places, and then it would just start moving. Like right now, I'd release the brake. It crawls a little bit, but not nearly as bad as it does if I was going to go to the recommended spec for this particular motorcycle. It's much better to have it just about of 1/8 of a turn off from flush, when it just kind of, that friction, and then from there, 1/8 of a turn off. See, even there it gives me issues. Squeeze going to second. Now it's good. It's got good tension on the clutch lever. So I'm pretty sure that has to do with the clutch plates itself and how they engage and whatnot, because it's the only thing that makes sense. There's no crunchiness or lunkiness. I don't have a lot of difficulty getting into other gears. They just downshifts right back into first gear. Not an issue at all, as long as I squeeze the clutch and do it fast. I do notice when I do squeeze the clutch and sit on it for a little bit, I do have to adjust the I do have to raise the RPMs of the motorcycle, so that way it'll allow the transmission to shift seamlessly. I just put a little bit of pressure on the clutch, on the shift selector, squeeze the clutch, a little bit of pressure on the shift selector, raise the RPM, and then blah, it'll go right into gear and just puke, fall right into it. But right now, man, this thing is, I don't know how well this motorcycle translates on the microphone, but man, it sounds really good with earplugs in. Suspension's not bad. This sucker's got an 11-inch, I think 10-inch, or no, it's got 10-inch shocks in the back, which is ungodly low. And it also has that little lowering thing or whatnot in the back as well. So here we go. I'll show you what I mean. I'm already in the second gear. Let's see if I need to go down to first. Squeeze. Won't let me go down to first. Raise the RPMs. Falls right in. Smooth as butter after that. Not too sure if that's a Harley thing. Not too sure if that's a year thing. Not too sure if that's a 5-speed thing. Either way, it's not a huge upset for me to have that. Let's see what the oil pressure's at. Sitting at 20 pounds. It's not a huge upset for me, but it is something that I am weary of, and I want to be weary of. Man, for a 97, she ain't looking too bad. A little bit of crawl right now. I don't like that. See, it's kind of pulling forward just a little bit. Let me put my foot on the brake right there. I did get the brakes fixed as well. It looks like the what's it called? The brake switch up here was being activated constantly because the lever was misaligned in the grip alignment here between that and the throttle. And I was able to realign it with that little cardboard trick and get it working, and my brakes weren't on all the time, and now I actually have brake lights, which is a good thing. That's a positive thing to have on a motorcycle, especially with one incandescent lights. Now here's the thing. A lot of people like to put those LEDs on these motorcycles. Like the LEDs obviously are more brilliant, they're brighter, they look good, and LED is probably the way I'm going to go with that. Man, look at that, just that's why I call him Mr. Bubbles. Anyways, Mr. Bubbles is riding real good right now, 3,000 RPM, this is 45 miles an hour. Anyways, LEDs are good. LEDs are great, but you know, I don't necessarily like the look of the ones that they put on the front. The headlight, the passing lamps, that kind of cyborg, arachnoid, futuristic Harley thing. It may look good on some of the new Harleys, yeah, because they are futuristic and stuff, you know, in comparison to what what was. Most certainly they look awesome, but not on this bike. This bike is a 97. That stuff didn't exist, and then the whole motif, the whole aesthetic, the whole vibe of the bike is just gone once you do that, and that's not something that's too cool, if I'm going to be honest. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put since it has the nice glass on the front, but it has a sealed bulb on the back, I'm going to put in another whole new glass in the front, a whole new piece in the front, or 7-inch round headlights. It's just a 7-inch headlight. I'm going to have to go with a headlight bucket, which will hold the LED headlight in there. But the nice thing is a lot of the aftermarket LED headlights come in H4 plugs, and this bike is an H4, so I don't need any sort of adapters or whatnot to run the LED headlight in the front. The passing headlights, there is a brand called Active Lights, something, I forget, it's a 2-word light thing, and then there was the light people and the light stuff that was mentioned there, and then the light people were there. So I went to the Google and I was like, hey man, what's the Harley lights? And they were like, hey man, the active light active 2-word something Harley light people. It's not Eagle Lights, most certainly. I went to their website, and some of their stuff is nice, but it's not going to necessarily fit what I want. A lot of it is that retrofit Harley stuff. So what I want to do initially for the round headlight in the front is to use a Holley product. It's a Holley product. It's a Holley 7-inch headlight that they use for cars and stuff that's retrofitted, high beam, low beam, H4, and it is a 7-inch as well. And in the older cars, they have a different bucket with a different alignment with a different thing, so you still have to get an adapter to use that. My question is, can I use that light, adapt it to the bucket, or use the bucket from either Hogwarts or whatever company, Amazon, something like that, to mount it to the front of this beast, so that way I can have the light, and bam bam bam, I have myself a nice LED headlight that's going to be able to give me the look that this motorcycle already has, that I inherited. To start with, this isn't necessarily my style of motorcycle to begin with. I don't care for large cruisers because they're limiting in certain facts. Well, I guess they're limiting for me because I like to go off-road. I mean, look at the boots I'm wearing. That's my kind of jam. I like to go in the dirt. But there is something very appealing to going long distance. And going long distance on my Africa Twin is fantastic, but changing tires all the time is not fantastic, because I coach a whole lot and I travel a whole lot and I go everywhere on my motorcycle. It's hard to justify putting knobbies on my bike, so when I do go off-road, it's a pain in the ding-dong. I think this person wants to go in front of me. I'm gonna let him go. Yep, let him go. That's fine. Ooh, this thing sings. But this thing, I would like to turn it into my workhorse for the street. Since I picked this up and oh, there we go. This guy's braking hard. Okay, we broke hard too. We're good. Hey, brakes work. That's good to know. Man, Jesus Christ, man or lady, I don't know what you are, but you're a pain in the ass. There we go. yeah, I like to go off-road, but since I do a lot of since I work a lot with Honda, I want something that I can go there comfortably, maybe make a 15-16 hour trip that isn't necessarily on knobbies, you know. I want to be able to make 2,000 miles one way and not have to worry about tire degradation or oil changes or ring life, or, you know. And so this thing is, I mean, I'm not saying that a lot of those things have to apply to the Africa Twin, except, you know, if I want knobbies on there. But man, changing from knobbies and then what, another $800 for a set of rims to put a set of street tires on it, and then I have another set of tires with the knobbies. No. I got this thing free. I don't know if I mentioned that. I got this thing free. I got this thing. Look at this. I got this thing free. Yes, I've put money into it. I put about $3,000 into it probably so far, and a lot of manual labor because all the work I've done myself. Which is good because obviously it saved me probably a little bit more than $3,000 just on that by itself. But I got this free. So if I can set this up to go long distances this year, next year, whatever, make it my tow pig, if you will, my work vehicle, my... Just had to bring that noise back. Yeah. So it does have those Samson True duals, and they are open. I do not believe they have a baffle. I'm going to be honest, I haven't checked. I don't want to check because the sound is incredible with earplugs in. Just with earplugs in. Just as, even when you're cranking it without the earplugs off, I mean, it's horrendous. It's going to destroy your ears. But the sound isn't like piercing like an open pipe GC, like a VQ, G35, VQ30, VQ, whatever they are, the 6-cylinder Nissans. Looking good. Sticking at about 7 pounds of oil pressure. No, 8 pounds of oil pressure. That's sitting pretty for me. I'm okay with that. Heating up, no leakage. I'm happy. No leaks. Clutch is a little funky, gotta fix that. I'm okay with that, whatever that may be. But yeah, man, to turn this into a long distance tour, to make it really nice. Now there's a couple things that it still needs. It still needs a little bit of, it still needs wheel bearings, a subframe, bushings. It still needs a set of tires. It still needs, that's about it, honestly, to make it a long distance machine right now as it sits. Now, as I noticed, as I had mentioned, is in 1997. 1997 is the second year, or to my knowledge, maybe even the third year, depending on how you classify it or look at it or who you're looking at. It's going to be the third year or the second year that Harley-Davidson released the electronic fuel injection, or EFI systems, in their touring bikes. The first systems they used, if you're unfamiliar with them, were the Magneti Pirelli fuel injection systems. So they use, instead of a top feed fuel injection or a fuel injector like you would find in most port injection engines. Listen. Mr. Bubbles, how dare you? Instead of using that instead of a top feed injection, using a side feed injector, and then from there it opens up. And the problem with side feed injectors is nobody makes or uses side feed injectors anymore. So on an almost 30-year-old motorcycle, to find side feed injectors is a very limiting prospect, because there's only so many people who are either remanufacturing or even possibly, if anything, making them new. And I couldn't find them new, so reman it was. Fuel lines, all that, everything, man, that bike had to sit for a while. And that Magneti Pirelli, apparently the issue isn't necessarily the injectors themselves. You can find injectors. I still found injectors. You know, it's a problem. You can fix that. The problem is what you can't fix. The ECU for these things use an old diagnostic computer, which is defunct and nobody has and nobody uses anymore. And if anybody has it, they don't care to mess with it because they know how much of a pain in the ass to recalibrate these machines are. So these things apparently have some sensors down here. As you can see, there's an idle control valve. There's usually a throttle position sensor of some sort down here, and they have to be controlled by these cables. Not controlled, but they have to be calibrated, and their particular voltages have to be placed within a parameter which is acceptable for the engine to say, hey, this is, I know where home base is, and this is at home base right now. And they get out of tune, if you will, with vibrations and time and stuff, and they're very, very hard to put back if you don't have that computer. Now this thing does have a power commander on it, and I believe I can access some of those data or some of that information through that, through my computer, which is nice, but it's not something that I want to screw with all the time. So this is more of an upgrade, if you will. I guess the next thing after tires would be the fuel injection system. I have two options. I can go either with a carburetor or put a carburetor down here, call it quits. Oh, sorry. Put a carburetor over here, take out the fuel lines down here, convert it over to carburetor, pull out the injectors, change the plenum, and all that stuff. Not a big deal. It's about $1,400, $1,500. Let's say $1,500, all the fittings, total cost involved. If I wanted to do the EFI system and stick with the EFI system, there's a company called Zippers. Zippers, I don't remember exactly where they're out of the United, but I believe they are out of the United States, and they offer a custom plenum with top feed injectors with Delphi sensors, and that sensor's working all together nice and beautiful with a nice little wiring harness that you hook up and stuff. That works with a aftermarket plug-in computer, which is a ThunderMax ECU, and we'll talk a little bit more about the ThunderMax ECU in a little bit. That thing's a really cool unit. Flute tuning, which is magic sauce when it comes to ECUs. Magic sauce. That's the real stuff right there for a daily. Ooh, workout successful. That was a good time. Legs today. Hit the legs pretty good. That was a fun. Oh man, my legs are busted. Did some good calves at the end. I love those calf raises. As I was telling my students over the weekend, man, fatigue is really the enemy of the motorcyclist. Fatigue is the enemy of the motorcyclist. Anything you can do to reduce fatigue, let's try to take it into play. Bike started up well. Bike's running nice. So that clutch is just pulling just a little bit. Maybe I should back it off a little bit more on the adjustment screw. Just for those high spots on the clutch. Maybe get it into a high spot and then do that adjustment on the clutch, just so it skips over those points. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, we got a little brake there. Got a little brake there. Mr.Bubbles. I gotta raise that just a little bit. As you can see, my boot just barely fits under, which is nice. You know, I don't mind, it barely fits. I can shift. I don't mind shifting. Is it the most easiest thing? No, I gotta be like, shoot, and get under that bitch. Like, really get under that thing. Like, really get under that thing. Yeah, look at that tack dance. So I have my Elvis sleeves on. Elvis sleeves from when I rode the three-wheeler over to my dad's house. He bought a three-wheeler out in Lake Wales. We took it out to his house out in Oviedo, and it's a nice little bike. But I recorded everything. No audio. No audio. I am a three-wheel instructor. I do teach three-wheel basic rider course, and I did assist in the first, or at least to my knowledge, the first advanced course, or advanced three-wheel bike basic rider, or three-wheel advanced riding course in the United States, out in Virginia. That was a great time. Thank you, Steve Kirsch, through Beast Crash Free, for taking me on that trip and teaching me some things, man. I hope I didn't disappoint, and I get to work with you well this year. He's a loud boy. He's a rowdy boy. Let me see if we're on a point where it doesn't. Yes, we're on a point where it doesn't crawl. Look at that. No crawling whatsoever. This thing always smells like hot oil and danger, but honestly, it's an air-cooled engine, so it's gonna smell like hot oil and danger. That's just the nature of the thing. But It is a good smell, but every time I smell it, man, I always got to check the oil pressure. Right now we're sitting at 10 pounds, which means it cooled down a little bit, but it didn't cool down enough to really make a huge impact on the oil pressure. When it's cold and I fire this sucker up, it'll get up to 15, 20, 22 pounds of oil pressure. Really depends on how cold it is. I do notice that this oil pressure drops down to about 5 pounds when it gets real hot. So I don't know if that's because it's getting real hot and it's just that low. Viscosity is too low or there's an issue, but you know, I haven't had an issue yet. It raises right back up as soon as I start to rev. The oil light will tick for a second and then come right back off. It's not a big deal. Like right now, whatever, 7, 8 pounds, 9 pounds of oil pressure. We're sitting pretty. Oil pump's working, all that stuff's working good. Got a little chrome here I got to polish up. A little bit of that chrome. Look at that right there. That in here too. I'd like to disconnect this stuff and really get in there and do it up, but then I need to get those zip ties first. I don't have those plug type zip ties. Come with me on a journey. Translates on the camera. This is the first time I record Mr. Bubbles, and he does have a glorious noise. This is an Evo engine. It's a 1340 Revolution. The only thing it's done to it is a stage 2 intake and the full exhaust with the tube. So it's just a stage 1 is what you would guess we'd call it in Harley world. So it's got a stage 1 performance package done to it. Man, it's been rock solid besides all the, you know, all the work that I've had to do to it, you know. But I really like it. Oh yeah, riser bar bushings too. I did those, so now they're solid as can be. I did change the clamp for aluminum one so it would bite down a little bit better, and it has worked out, but I did notice that the Betty Bezos Amazon version, I needed to shave it down. I took my grinder and I shaved it down so it'll have more distance between both clamping ends. So of the clamp itself, the top clamp and the bar, or the portion where the perch where the bar goes in. Hear that rev just right at the end? It's because I needed a downshift. I squeezed the clutch. I did not downshift. I let it drop in RPMs, and then I proceeded to put pressure on the shift selector down, and then from there rev up just a little bit, and that sucker goes smooth as butter. Bing bong boing. That's your mother. Nice Supra. Ooh, I love that color. Ooh, I love that color. I don't know if I should put some pegs out here. I saw some dude online had some pegs out here. I've seen some pegs up here. It seems a little obtuse. Honestly, with these big ass floorboards, I've been able to put my feet in like 18 different positions, and I really haven't found myself in an uncomfortable one yet. If I need to move around, it's okay. If there's anything that's interesting as a seat, I would love to sit a little bit more back, maybe another inch. It is a Gator seat. I'll put up the brand and the model and stuff. Gator Skin, that is. I'll put it up on the video so that way you can see what it is. It's a comfortable seat. It's older than sin though. They do make it brand new. I'm not too sure how fast these paddings and stuff degrade, but so far the seat is fairly comfortable. It's a 2-up seat. If I do that Tour Pack King box thing or whatever on the back and I paint it and all that jazz, especially as a solo tour pack, I'm gonna have to go to a solo seat. So either modify this one or get a solo seat, a cheap ass solo seat, and just slap that thing on the back and then put a tour pack, and then I should be ready for whatever as far as traveling baggage and all that stuff. You know, that part's taken care of. Then I can just take care of the small things left over, and she should be sorry Mr. Bubbles. I am so sorry, Mr. Bubbles.